So Juice WRLD has a posthumous release titled Righteous. I'm I'm a little surprised that this dropped. It is months, close to 5 months after his passing. So I guess I can't be too shocked or surprised that we're finally getting music. But I don't know why it just hasn't felt like that long. It feels still pretty close to when he did pass. And I can say, like I said, I haven't always been Juice WRLD's biggest fan. You guys know this. Even the tracks that I loved from his most recent album, I still thought was mediocre as a project. But when it comes to those singles and those songs, those show so much potential that I wish he could have lived longer to fully tap into and realize. Unfortunately, he did not and was unable to. But there are definitely moments in Juice WRLD's discog, and especially on his most recent album, that I'm just like, yo, this dude just needs to tap into this, hone in on it more, and he can make an explosive, melodic statement on music. And I'm just, it's unfortunate he didn't have the time to do so. But we have a new single here, and I'm hoping that it leads into further music, and we get more. I'm just trying to hear what else he was working on, see if he was a part of anything else great. You can always give me with the guitar.
6 pills, am I right?
No.
Coding running my anxiety the size of a planet. Holes in my skull.
I hate listening to music from artists beyond that stage of their life, beyond a point where it felt like they clearly needed help or some type of assistance with something, and they were unable to get it, even though they fully acknowledged it and made others aware of it. But again, you can't hold others responsible for what you have to maintain a hold or a grasp over yourself. But at the same time, just having this awareness of such a blatant problem and still falling victim to it, I don't know how prolific that is, how sad it is to live with that reality of something having that big of a hold over you.
They died this evening, coughing, wheezing, bleeding.
Oh my God, yes. See, his voice is acting like a hammock. It's blowing in the wind back and forth, but it's constantly ascending. Like there's a progression in this song, and I like that a lot. I hate when it comes to people that are using their voice and using melodies for the great duration of a track. I hate, for the most part, when they just don't go anywhere with it, or when it's so consistent or flatline. Like, have a progression, have an ascension, or have a decline. Do something with the vocals or manipulate them in some way to just keep the song moving in some direction. And I like that, and I like that about Juice WRLD's voice. It's always been one of his highlights for me.
It's my time, I'll know. Never
Dog,
seen hell. Inhale, exhale, but I can't breathe. Busy drink codeine, doing high speed.
And I can't say listening to this music is like surprising, where it feels so much more sad than the music that he already makes, or that he already used to make, because the fact that content like this was so heavily discussed in the music that he already made, it might make the track hit a little less hard. Obviously, now that he's gone, we can reflect on this stuff and listen to the music, and it's obviously much more tragic now. But the fact that I took him seriously when he was rapping like this way back when, and not to say, oh, I knew it would have its consequences, but it's one of those things where you grow so accustomed to things like this affecting so many people and people coping with it in so many different ways that you can't really bring yourself to criticize people or tell them what their method should be for it. And you just hope that whatever their coping mechanism is, that they don't go too far with it. I don't know what his reasons were in that moment, in his last moments. I don't know if it was an accident. I don't know if he wanted to hide them. I don't know what the situation was, but I do know that he talked about this in his music for a long, long time. So hearing it now doesn't really make me more sad for him. It just makes me realize and acknowledge that we need to make sure that we find and maintain better coping mechanisms for dealing with anxiety, depression, thoughts of sadness continuously. I think the life in the music and the legacy of a Juice WRLD is going to be fighting against, those things that attack you, but with health. The track hits a little less hard because of all those reasons. If you're one of those listeners that, acknowledge these things about Juice WRLD prior to, then hearing this is gonna bring about more sadness because he's gone. But at the same time, it's like, I've known this about you for a really long time. Love the guitar. Guitars, you know, you can always get me with a guitar. It's a lot more heartfelt. It would have been even more heartfelt, honestly, without the drums. If y'all really want this to hit and resonate with listeners, though, I would definitely recommend removing drums for tracks like this, and keeping it as organic and as natural as possible. I do think that works best for these posthumous releases. I don't know why, it just resonates more. It does. It just resonates more. Or implementing more live instruments. I think that's something that should be heavily considered, you know, going further into Juice WRLD's catalog, that, you know, he's no longer here. I think, you know, putting that as a priority would be a good thing. But that isn't to say that the whole album should be sad. You know, if you want to put the bangers on there, you want to remind people of why he was so talented, definitely do that as well. But yeah, like the track, thought it was okay from, you know, comparing it to everything else in Juice WRLD's catalog. But after listening to his music for so long and knowing exactly kind of what he talks about, this doesn't really hit me in a different way than any of the other tracks that he may have made. So that's how I feel about this new Juice WRLD. Righteous. Let me know how you felt about it in the comment section down below. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. I'll see you in the next one, and I am out. Goodbye.